Hi everyone, it's Carolyn here again to share another channeled message from the LightKeepers, a group of angelic beings I channel for your awakening journey and support. And then what I do is I give you my take on it, and I give you my experiences and some kind of real life things you can take away for your own journey. So welcome to everybody who's new, and if you're not familiar with me, check out my welcome video. It tells you a little bit about my awakening journey. It also tells you about how I began channeling the LightKeepers, and then I have a free video on flow. It's 6 tips on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness, because our body is so important during this time of awakening. It's the vessel in which we travel this journey. So check it out, and then when you sign up, you actually get led to a lot more free content. So join me. So welcome to everybody today. And so today's channel is a longer one. And oh, by the way, for these longer channels, what I'm doing is I'm putting in the description box below the video the text so you can read it, because they take a long time to put into a video when they're lengthy, like the ones are kind of lately. So anyway, this one is on emotion, but particularly with respect to the awakening journey. Everybody can get something out of it, but it really is a powerful piece for those going through awakening. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get going. And then I got a couple comments at the end. I'm going to share with you some things that I think about this channel and some of my own experiences. All right, here we go. Emotion is such a human thing, more than anyone knows, for no one else brings this kind of energy into their lives. It is special for Earth only and always, running the range, we say, from anger to gladness and everything in between. Letting them run amok, then your emotions do control you, and not the other way around through the higher self of you. And yet we wish to speak right now to emotions that are divinely offered, and how. For it is a gift to feel all you can feel, and yet still find a way to keep them in check, so that they do not overtake your life in your way. And during the Great Awakening, we say, so much shifts and changes with emotions, for they become even more sensitive, and in your face too. For the energy of emotion can change your day of all that is in your way, letting you feel a range of them too, even in a moment and across a lifetime too. And then so many, during their times in their lives, shut down and put the emotion inside of the body, and the body takes it in, creating oftentimes its own energy too from emotion that was never spent in the human way that was due, of feeling and processing it and understanding it, we say, in the intellectual way, as well as emotion of the deeper inside of you, dealing with it in your relationships and not stuffing it down. Rather, it is what relationships offer. For emotions in humankind's relationships are important, for one cannot have another without the human emotion in the way. And this is the great test. For one would never feel emotion without another in their way to trigger them in one way. Sadness and anger, we say, comes to you, fits of rage, yes, we say, often from people and relationships of others that are in your day. Not anything other than humans in your way. Typically we say happiness and gladness and caring too all has to do with relationships. And when one is often hurt or someone has done something not appropriate in their way, often it is stuffed away and never dealt with. And then it can come back, often in other ways, we say, through physical ailments and mental too, we say. Distress too, stress, physical issues, and yet it becomes in the awakening too, where one can never hide it evermore. This is what the awakening is about, a multi-layered process for you to be opening up to yourself, to see what you have stuffed down in that treasure chest of all we say. Sometimes it is happiness too, for many of you feel you have to save happiness and not really feel it too, for it will be taken away. This gets stuffed down in your day too. Anger and upsetness of something someone has done to you, never dealt with, or your voice spoken out too. That it is too in the chest of secrets that you have stuffed away, but your body knows it. Oh, yes, we say. sitting in the solar plexus and the heart most often. Yes, it is. Opening up in your way, it will begin to overflow in the body in awakening. We wish you to know it is natural to feel deep emotion bubbling up one day to the next, and you will not necessarily know where it comes from. Long lost lives too, for much clearing is being done now of all that you have stuffed down and not dealt with then too. Even the little things, yes, we say, can trigger your body to let it go too. For this is what the awakening is about. The deep soul of you saying, no, we cannot do this anymore, so that you can be the lightness of all depth within you, opening you up to letting it go, feeling the deep emotion and misery, wishing you were never here again in another day, not knowing how to deal with it, feeling you are going crazy in your way for not knowing where it comes from. But we wish today to bring this information to you so you know you're not going crazy. It is emotion that is bubbling up like a volcano, and in doing so, clearing out the steam that you have built up today from everything and everyone who has hurt you in your way, or you have stuffed down any emotion in your way. This is one of the hallmarks of the awakening, it is true, clearing out all that you can imagine. So we wish you to know that having these days in your way where you feel a smaller version of yourself, not knowing how to handle yourself, visions of things that are coming to you, not understanding where they come from, we ask you to sit down and calm yourself. Do not run around frenetic, and instead know it is coming from the deeper of the human of you to clear and cleanse for the great ascension in your way. Just take the feeling and emotion and don't try to figure out necessarily where it is coming from in your day. You may figure it out, but we only wish to calm you through this too. A walk in nature is just fine. Taking care of yourself during this time, comforting yourself, resting and trusting that this process is all that it is and ever more, to clear you out of what you have stored for the eons, not just in this lifetime. For you bring the past to the present today. During the great ascension, it is true, so many are releasing more than just this life too. And we ask, in time, for you to reach out to other friends of the awakening type. Online, there are so many, yes, there are, to speak out and care and give a kind heart to all you are going through. But just know that this too shall pass, and the next day will come. And often you will feel a difference in your way, even at times overnight, yes, we say. Call on us too, your angels and guides, for we are ever your due, here to help you. Give us gratitude in your way when you are in stress. We have free will that as humans do, so ask and you shall receive in a way that you may not understand. But build this as a partnership to help you through this time of clearing every and all emotions, we say. Situations you have stuffed down in your day. This is what the clearing is, and everyone has a different level of it, depending on how they have dealt with situations with others and emotions in their way. Blessed ones, we say you are. Often you will go through a difficult time of grand emotions, but know it is all for good, and to find the beauty, we say, on the other side of the ascension today. So that was a channel kind of talking about the full depth and range of emotions, but not just the kinds of things, emotions that we've taken and, like they say, stuffed down and not dealt with. Something happened with us, and not just in this life, and then we're bringing past lives forward. You know, you hear me talk about past lives. What you have to realize is lots of times you're not going to be able to necessarily recognize why you're feeling these emotions. It may be this life, but it may be a past life. And so just, I guess what I would say there, I'm going to give you a couple thoughts on this. And these are things that have happened to me too. So this is coming from experience. I have been able to identify some of my past lives, but we can't all do that. And we don't always know if those emotions that are coming up are from that past life or our current life. But just know that when you feel this depth of emotion, we all want to try to identify and say, what is this about? Why am I having this? Help me, help me. I'm going crazy. No, you're not. You're not. Just breathe and know that you're clearing. And it is a much more significant kind of emotional feeling than before you ever went through the awakening. Okay? It's coming from a place we didn't deal with before. All right? Before we went through awakening, we went through our lives and we chose to either deal with things right up front and as they came, okay, getting out that emotion. Or, as we all do at one time or another to a greater degree or less, we've chosen to stuff it down and not deal with it, not talk to the person, maybe not even deal with our own self, with what we did to another, feeling the actual feeling and then letting it go, doing that forgiving part of that. All of that, those are all emotions. They all create emotions. Everything that has happened to us with people in our lives that we haven't dealt with, it gets peeled off in the awakening. So, to one degree or another, you're going to feel this. And when you do, a few things from my journey, what I've done is, honestly, I've just leaned into the emotion, and I am not a crier or have been in my life. It takes a lot. And I find myself just leaning into it and laying on my bed and just crying my eyes out. I don't even know what it is and why. But the thing is, you got to get it out. It's like what's happening in the awakening. It's not just about the thought form. It's the cellular reaction our body has. It's like exuding out all of what is stuffed down. And like they talk about, and I thought this was interesting, they talk about it being very much stuffed away in the solar plexus and the heart. Well, we know nowadays, we're getting smart enough to understand that, well, when you have a lot of stress and you have a lot of emotion and you're going through tough times, well, your heart can be affected. Your whole inner being can be affected. You can create physical ailments from not dealing with the stuff that has come to us in our way, whether somebody's done something to us that has hurt us tremendously, whether we've done something to ourselves and we're causing ourselves shame in ourselves. Working through these things by allowing ourselves to, and I don't mean go delving into the past, I'm talking about when that emotion shows up. I'm not saying go find that emotion, okay? Because let me tell you, in the awakening, it's going to show up if it's supposed to. So don't go seeking all that undone stuff. But if you feel it, yeah, go, talk to that person. Or if you feel compelled, if you are feeling the grand emotion behind something, express it out. Maybe you're not going to want to or need to or even be able to go talk to that person about something that was left undone. But you can at least express the emotion out of your body. And obviously, the hope is in a constructive way. I mean, anger, I've been there, and we all get to that point. But it's about finding a way in yourself. And I think crying, honestly, I think tears were brought to us to be able to express a wide range of emotion. We just don't use them enough because we've been told that, especially for men, and I think it's getting a little better now, but especially for men, oh, don't cry, be a big boy, that whole thing. And even for women, women have kind of gotten that tough exterior these days. And, crying is there for us. It's natural. So express out what you're feeling. And my point in this is, don't go digging for it. Enough's going to show up. But when you feel the emotion, don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out. It's not going to last forever. It is definitely not going to last forever. I've been there where I've been at the depths during a particular day. And then literally because night went by and I got up the next morning, it was like I cleared it. And you do, because you're getting it out. Now, the other things I've done, and I don't know, now I don't remember if they mentioned this or not, but what I'll do, and we just had a full moon, so you could kind of do this for the next full moon. What I'll do is I will feel that emotion. I'll go through the physical part of that. And then I'll save my stuff up for the full moon release. And I'm here to tell you right now, it works. I've had 3 significant months in the early 2019 where I know about past lives that I was clearing. And in the full moon, I offered it to be released, giving gratitude for the experience, because we always learn something even from the difficult times. And then I just said, I release this. I no longer need this emotion. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't need this experience any longer, and I let this go. I release this from my body. And do whatever you want. I always like to light a white candle, and I make it really short, and then I just express it out, and just something magical happens when we do these little ceremonies. So I would suggest you try that. But the biggest thing is to express out the emotion. It gets stuffed down into a place that causes physical ailments, physical harm to us, mental distress. And you guys have all probably been there. And the thing is, in the awakening, honestly, it just gets worse. And I don't mean to sound like, dread and the awakening's awful, but it can be so hard, because if to the degree that we've stuffed things down over the years and not dealt with things that have happened in our lives, we can at least, we're gonna have that explosion up, that eruption like they talked about, like that volcano. And so then what you have the opportunity to do is deal with it with yourself. Again, you're not going to necessarily be able to talk to that person or deal with that person, but you've got to deal with it within yourself, okay? You can intellectualize it. You can think about it. You can think about what it offered to you. And you're not even always going to be able to identify it, like I mentioned. And when you can't identify it, just feel it. Let it go. Cry. Get angry. Go walk out. Go take a run. Exercise is a great way to expel this, but don't just stuff it back away, okay? Because with the awakening, you're not going to be able to do that. It's going to make your journey more miserable, all right? I would also say the other thing is, it's so important to take care of your body during the awakening. Now, that could be a whole video on itself, which I probably have done. But the thing is, these emotions also present themselves through our body. And the more we take care of our body, whether it be drinking a lot of water during the awakening, physical exercise, whatever that means for you, regularly, daily, taking calming time for yourself, not living a frenetic life like we have done for so long, right? Treating yourself to little gifts, little things like just Epsom salt baths. That's like my favorite thing. Eating properly, not eating crummy all the time. I know we're driven to certain kinds of things we want to eat in the awaken oftentimes, but again, finding that balance of taking care of yourself, because this is what it's about. It's about reclaiming yourself and having these emotions come up and clearing them out, whether you recognize them or not, where they're coming from, is a huge part of this awakening journey. So with that today, I'm going to close out and wish you well. And I want to remind you of the services that I offer through purplerainhealing.com. I offer channeling, distance energy healing, and one of my most favorite things is spiritual awakening mentoring that I mention all the time. And I'm working with so many of you right now. And we're really launching you forward in your journey, because you also get channeled information from your spirit team. And we just let them take us where they want in the session. And we also work on your goals and the things you want to move forward in your journey. So I would love to work with you. Check out purplerainhealing.com and you'll be able to connect with me, and we'll go from there. So again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I will see you in the next video.